Hi, Jen.
Hi, Elle.
How's it going?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing lovely.
Lovely?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, hell yeah.
Considering this weather we have, I'm doing pretty lovely. Lovely, I feel like, is like spring forward thinking.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
okay, word.
Yeah, it better be around the corner. Otherwise, I'm
I
going to
feel
start
like-
lashing out.
No, I didn't even get a sprinkle of winter. We had snow for like 3 days, and
Guess
then it
what?
melted.
You had your chance. Try again next year.
I can't believe you just spoke to me in that tone.
I wasn't, no,
Never
sorry.
speak to me like that again.
Did you not see my eyes looking outside? I was directing it out there.
I'm sure.
Sorry. Anyways.
Did we just have our first fight?
Oh my God. On air too.
Oh my God, that was embarrassing.
That was juicy.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, guys. Anyways. So, what are we talking about today? We got some
Ooh,
personal growth.
yeah, we got a good topic for you guys.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So, give us a disclaimer.
Okay, here's my disclaimer. As we were talking last week, Alex usually gives a better one than I do.
That's false.
No, I just say shit.
You keep it fun, uplifting,
Oh,
light,
Thank you.
gorgeous. Gorgeous.
I love that. Okay, disclaimer. Alex and I are just two girls. We have two opinions, and if you don't like our opinions or your opinion doesn't align with ours, GTFO, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, get out of the room.
Move, bitch. Get out the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
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 That was very 2012. I love that.
I was 12. Right. Okay, moving
Mhm.
on.
Interesting. That was a great disclaimer. Thank you. Do you have anything else you want to add before we get gone?
No.
All
I'll
right.
let you take it away.
Okay, pal. Sounds good. So I think both Jen and I will take a professional and a personal approach to this because we want this to be attainable and available for anybody in whatever position that you're in right now. Some people may need it more on the business side of things, and some people want some advice and some insight on it personally. So I think both of us will kind of cross over. I will start with professional growth because I think for me, my professional growth has helped me personally. And I think it's made me grow up a lot quicker than maybe one. I feel like it's made me acquire a better work ethic, and it's just made me a better person for the people in my life too.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
Tell me more.
Okay. So I do want to talk about how personal growth also kind of works in with that. But I love the idea that there's personal development and then personal growth, which kind of are interchangeable, if you say. The reason why both of these things are so important is because it helps me not only view my own life and self-worth more positively, but it also creates a healthier approach introspectively. So how I view myself, not just how I think other people view me. I also think that when you're working on personal growth, you think about less of how other people view you and more about like, okay, well, what are the opinions about myself? Are those good? Let's start there. This includes better habits and more. Professionally speaking, it does make me a better coworker, I believe, and a better boss to any future employees. And hopefully Jen agrees that anything that I did personally only improved our professional relationship when she interned for us, because that's how this all started.
Yeah, you're like kind of the worst.
I know.
Like awful.
Hey, we gotta cut that out. No. Gotta cut that out.
No, for realsies, Alex was the best fucking boss I could ever ask for. We always joke, like, whenever we'd work at a coffee shop and I ran into one of my friends from school, I'd be like, oh, this is my boss, Alex. And we'd both like turn and like motion vomit to each other.
Oh my God. Oh.
This is my boss / best friend.
Even though it's like cool to know. Like, it's cool. If it were anybody else, maybe somebody I didn't have like a close relationship with, I'd be like, hell yeah, I'm the boss.
I'm the boss.
Don't tread on me. I'm the boss. But I was like, oh, really? Can't I just be your friend?
Aren't we just like
Are we just pals? So with that being said, it's really nice to know, but there was a lot of effort behind trying to be the best that I could be for Jen, for anybody else that could potentially be hired by us, but also to be a good coworker to Greg, to my dad, because that was an introspective decision that I had to make was to, instead of respond how I would typically respond as his daughter, I needed to have the utmost respect and professionalism, and that had to come from personal growth, was making that decision and say, hey, you're not doing the best, you need to do better. And that's only made our relationship personally and professionally better. So
you guys are very, very close.
yes.
Like, for some of you who don't know or like haven't really spent time with Alex and Greg, they are two peas in a pod.
Two peas.
They work together so well, so efficiently, and I'm not just saying that because I worked for them. Like, truly, even from an outside perspective, if I didn't have any connection to them whatsoever, it's just apparent that these two get along. They're besties.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, it's taken a lot of effort for both of us. I think it's just constantly trying to understand where the other person is coming from.
For sure.
And I think that there's this one quote or piece of advice that kind of floats around there quite a bit, but it talks about like, don't argue to be right in that situation. Argue to solve the issue with that other individual, so you can just get to the bottom of it and then stop arguing. Because if you're always arguing to be right, it'll just continue.
Yeah, what's the point?
What's the point? You just want to hear yourself talk.
Yeah.
So when we both stopped doing that and we were listening to each other, we're like, okay, now we're more focused on a solution rather than the argument. With personal development being, the tool that gets you to where you want to be. So that's kind of the difference, is the personal growth is out of the personal development that you're working on. And the personal growth now is the benefit of that action. With personal growth, that does mean different things to different people. That could mean something in the same. Maybe they're just like, oh, okay, it's just personal growth in general. But ultimately, it is your end goal. And I also want to add that as an end goal, that's always moving. You're always constantly working on it. I think that's where you start to see those milestones and those things that you've been working on and seeing it double back. And it's not like a check mark, like a task you've completed, but it's like, I was focusing on this one thing for a very long time and I'm better at it now. And that's a win, so that's where the growth comes from. So active growth means add meaning to your life and always working on that. It's always a work in progress. You're never stopping, because you should always want to be better for yourself. And we go through so many different seasons. 10 years from now, I'm going to need something different of myself. I'm going to have a lot of growing to do. I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, but I can't ever stop focusing on that, because good things come from that, I believe. What do you think?
I would agree. Yeah, absolutely. I wasn't like getting lost in what you were saying, but I was just thinking on that a little bit more. It is so crazy to think that, okay, so I'm 23, like 10 years ago when I was 13, just in such a different spot in my life. In 10 more years when I'm 33, that's going to be an even weirder spot in my life. Let's think about 43, 53. I'm just thinking about that. That's fucking wild.
Yeah, it's almost like you get handed a new set of challenges, of tribulations that you need to deal with, and like new characteristics that you acquire that just come with age, that, there are different scenarios that put you in challenging positions, and that could, alter your personality in some way without you knowing. So it's like, you have to decide what's important to you, what kind of person you want to be. And then you're constantly reassessing yourself, like in these new stages, being like, okay, am I hitting these goals of mine personally that I want to exude to the people in my life?
I'm thinking about what you said a little bit ago. I don't know how long we've been rolling, probably a couple minutes ago.
Yeah.
But you said something about personal growth and personal development being the tools. I'm thinking it's analogy time.
Oh, baby,
Let me just whip this out of my back pocket real quick.
Whip.
Okay, so whip. I'm thinking about what I was just going on about on like a little brain fart moment. But okay, so at 13, I'm thinking of all the tools I had in my toolbox, right? Probably weren't many because I didn't have very many experiences. Now at 23, I'm adding more to the toolbox. 33, probably going to have even more. But then after that, it's all about how you use those tools, right? You don't have to be using all of them at the exact same time to solve one problem. You got to pick and choose the tools you're using.
Oh my gosh. Ready for a double
like,
analogy?
Yeah.
At 13, you had a toolkit. At 23, you have a toolbox. At 33 and up, you get a garage. And now you just start adding more pieces of equipment. Maybe you get a shed at 43.
A she shed?
A she shed.
Someone burned down my she shed.
I love that commercial
Me
so
too.
much.
Okay. I love this for us, though.
Yeah.
What are we, like fucking Gandhi?
Oh my. If this isn't the best advice column in the world, I don't know what is.
I'm the Rosetta Stone and you are Gandhi.
Oh my gosh. In the time frame since the last time we discussed, I think Jen took it upon herself to prove her point further that the Rosetta Stone, if you didn't listen to last week's episode, please do. It'll provide context.
Yeah.
But your girl Alex did not know that came from a factual, literal stone.
It's just funny to me.
So she found it on Wikipedia and sent me a screenshot of it.
Okay, I love history. Love it, love it, love it. So this is a tool in my toolbox, if you will. I retained the Rosetta Stone information, whereas you probably remembered something else that I have no fucking idea what's going on.
No, and bet your ass that when I figure what that is,
Yeah,
I will send you a screenshot of the Wikipedia page.
I like kind of know everything, so
I know.
unless it's math, which we both struggle in. So
I
it's
know,
not
but
gonna
I'm
be that.
hoping that maybe there's one thing where I can be like, oh, do you know the Pythagorean theorem?
Why was I gonna say that?
Mm.
We are on the same fucking
Yeah.
level.
Oh my
Let's
gosh.
go.
Get
All
out of my
right.
brain. What number am I thinking of?
3.
23. That's not the same,
It
but
was really close.
let's
though.
let our jaws drop.
Huh?
Like in shock, like if we
Oh,
would have
oh.
landed on the same.
Wow.
Yeah. I kind of want to go through some different benefits of what personal development can do for you and kind of the outcomes. So the outcome is what I'll be touching on, the personal growth, and then the action of it, how that kind of gets. So I'll break it down. So increased confidence, and I'm going to speak on personal experiences because I feel like that's the best way to do it. I don't feel like it's appropriate to talk about Jen, about anybody else, because I only know confidently about how I feel about it. My confidence in my professional life has gone up and down. I've done so many types of different jobs, even if like the position itself is similar, being an administrative assistant, I guess. Office assistant is another way to say it, but in very different offices, financial advising, medical, law. Those have all been kind of debilitating for my confidence because I think what I learned was the type of job it wasn't really saying much for myself. They're kind of saying like, it's easy. When you go in for an interview, anybody could do it. Like they just need a reliable person who has, can stay on task pretty much. They're kind of saying that the job itself isn't very hard. With that being said, I mean, pretty much up until I started this job and the position before, I've kind of always taken those positions where they were lower level, entry level, and people kind of made you feel that way. But the growth part of that is I allowed them to let me feel that way. When I could have just looked at it from a completely different perspective and been like, hey, this is just a stepping stone. And also when they have like administrative appreciation day, they always say like, you're not just an admin assistant, because a lot of people, including myself, if we had an unhappy client come up to us, maybe let's say at the medical office, they come up and they're like, hey, so-and-so was really rude to me, or nobody's helped me, nobody's checked in, and maybe it relays more to the doctor, the nurse, and you're like, sorry, I'm just the admin assistant here. Like, I don't know what to say. But it's like, no, you're not just an admin assistant. You're not just this. And even when I was explaining my position to other people, I'd be like, I'm just an admin assistant right now, but like eventually I'll do more. It's like some people have very happy, long, successful careers just doing that. Admin assistants, they are the heartbeat of the office. They do all the little things that allow other people in different positions to do their job successfully because they're taking care of the things that don't fall under other people's positions. Yeah. So it's important. Taking accountability for It's not, they don't get to make me feel that way. That's their opinion. And I took their opinion as Bible and I applied it to my feelings and basically made it give my feelings validation, saying that that's right. When now I see it as, I learned so many tools. I learned so many important things that a lot of people who wouldn't have had that entry level position where maybe it would have helped them in their future career. You know, so now just trying to like change the perspective and be like, okay, no, it was a positive thing. And I wasn't just this or just that. Like it was creating the path to where I am now and giving me more tools in my tool belt, right?
Amen.
Amen.
Way to bring that. What am I going to say
Full
here?
circle.
Yes.
The next one I'll talk about is kind of embracing empathy and sympathy for others. This is more probably relatable as a boss. This is my first time being a boss to people. I am not the boss of anybody right now. We did have 2 interns, one for fabrication, one for graphic design, which was Jen. Will was our fabrication intern at one point in time. And treating them like humans, I learned what not to do from a lot of my old bosses. And I think that's what's going to make me a better boss, because I believe that you need to have empathy and care for others, especially your employees, so they don't just feel like another employee, another number in your book, that they're replaceable. I mean, I think about Will. He got trapped so many times at his house, and thankfully, like, I knew him on a personal level. I knew what his situation was. So I knew every time that he couldn't drive his car out of their driveway, that was fact, because their driveway was a disaster in the winter.
Yeah.
And I could see other people, when you get the same excuse, I'm putting that in air quotes, the same excuse from an employee time and time again, you're like, so your car's stuck again? You're sick again? It's like, yeah, maybe it is. Because what is your employee showing you when they are there? You know, also the fact that he's communicating when he needs to be out of the office.
Right.
You know, he was willing to get picked up by us, you know, if we needed the people to come back in and help. So same thing with Jen. There were a lot of times where she had personal things come up and she needed to rework her schedule with us, where maybe she wasn't going to be there on a Wednesday or a Friday and we needed to do other work. Or maybe she also needed to be flexible with my schedule, and now we need to work remotely together. So now we have to communicate through emails or phone call. She also had to show me empathy when I needed some flexibility, but then also she's a human. She's got relationships. She has important things outside of work, and I need to practice what I preach as not living to work. I can't expect my employees to do that. So I need to show empathy to the times that they need a little bit of flexibility on my end. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I would agree. And I mean, for people who also weren't in the situation, which is anyone except you, me, and Greg, I thought you did a fantastic job at that. And for it really being like my first position, I won't say job because I was just an intern, but my first like real gig outside of college, I couldn't have asked for a better situation to be in, honestly.
Yeah.
The amount of flexibility, the amount of care that both you and your dad, Greg, showed for me as a human, but also a worker, it's just uncomparable.
Well, right. And I think that's also what cultivates a healthy relationship once our work relationship starts.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't think that the one thing that I always worried about with Jen was I want to hang out with her outside of work. I want to do these things with her and get to know her more. But it's like, where does that start and where does that end, professionally speaking? So I think because we did care about her, still got to know her, still asked questions that are maybe outside of a traditional professional relationship. But because of that, I think that when our working relationship ended with your internship, I mean, we work together now.
Yeah.
But now you and I have a partnership and we're equal. But at the time, you know, there was a hierarchy.
Yeah.
That I think that allowed us to continue having a close relationship moving forward. Another one would be release of self-doubt. So kind of talking about that confidence, it goes hand in hand. Don't doubt yourself. I have been in one specific position where I think I talked about it in another episode, that every morning I just couldn't believe that I got this job. I felt like a phony, the imposter syndrome. That self-doubt crept in so much. And I think I needed to grow a lot to not doubt myself so much and kind of dig deep and be like, okay, well, what does that mean? What in my past made me think that I wasn't good enough or to doubt myself in the first place. I also saw a lot of increased motivation, both personally and professionally. Like, I think wanting to chase a little bit more, my family kind of puts it really well, is like how many sticks do you have in the fire? Like, you know what I'm saying? Whatever that analogy is, like, how many things do you have going at one time? And it can seem really overwhelming to some people, but I would consider myself a very highly motivated person. And I'm motivated by the fact is, for my professional career, I really don't care what that is. I just want to love it. And if I have the means and the flexibility to chase after something, I'm going to. And I think everybody should try that, because it doesn't need to be a one size fits all. Just because you committed to something in the meantime doesn't mean that you can't change your mind. And I think right now I'm trying to jump on the motivation when I do get it, because there are times when your girl's not very motivated.
I feel that.
I am a master procrastinator. I have been since college. I think when it comes to working with clients, paying clients, I'm on top of it because I want to respect their time and money, and obviously the effort that they're putting in. However, if it's me and me only, I've been saying this a lot lately, but like, you are the first person that you let down. You're the first person to cancel plans with, and that's what I would do. I'd be like, okay, I know how much you've been wanting to get this personal project done or to get this admin task done for Pop and Dot. It's just not happening. And then it gets put off 2 weeks in a row, and I kick myself. Ridiculous.
I feel you, though. Sometimes it's just so hard.
I don't know why, but it is. It's that mental game.
So true.
Yeah. I think that it's important to also work on professional development and growth, because it allows you to be less likely to react negatively to outside forces and situations. Kind of takes away the woe is me feeling and thinking that bad things just happen to you. Like, oh, it's just this negative cycle and this, reeling of negative thoughts that you really can't get yourself out of. And maybe it starts with, maybe you get let go from your job, you're either laid off or you're just fired, and you're like, oh, everything's falling apart. And then you just it makes you think of other things and connecting dots, when it's like, that's it. That's all that happened. But why did it happen? Like, now let's go back to the very beginning. Or if you were fired, why? Take a little accountability. And that doesn't need to be negative. You can still be sorry for something and not take it negatively, but apologize, take accountability, and then just work to do better. I was talking with a friend recently, and we had a really good conversation about like where we are in life. And not that I don't ever think that it's cheesy, but I always just say this as a disclaimer. Like, I don't mean to be cheesy, but you talk about, as long as you're trying your best, the universe is in your favor. Mm-hmm. And then my response was, exactly. You are never immune to bad things. Nobody is immune to bad things happening. As long as you're trying your best every day and you're being a good person, even when you do make mistakes and slip up, because you're trying, the universe recognizes that, and they'll try and make whatever bad time you're going through a little bit easier. Maybe they'll give you more tools to work through it. I also find that working on personal development helps me manage my stress, both at the office and out of the office, a lot better. I think it also allows me to share more of myself. It grounds me. It also allows me to increase my goals. We talked about motivation. I think because I'm more mentally healthy and I have such a better relationship with myself personally, it allows me to go after the things that I truly care about and the things that I do want to go to. It also, I feel like, kind of just opens up my mind to all these things that have maybe been passing thoughts before, but never thought twice of, because maybe I had a negative comment come up where it was like, oh, you can't do that. But now I'm clear-headed for the most part.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what? I'm gonna try that. Why not? What's the worst that could happen? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so lastly, I just kind of want to leave off with this, that if you live in a growth mindset, mindfully, that good things will just naturally generate. They'll naturally manifest themselves. As long as you're trying to always grow and do better, good things will happen.
What a great positive note to end on.
Yeah.
I love that. And I feel like that's everything we've been preaching, especially in the last couple episodes. I talk about manifesting, or at least like getting into a positive mindset a lot, and that speaks with me. I love that. Thank you for adding that.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to try to add more positive things at the end of like my spiels, because I used to be all like sunshine and rainbows, or as people would say. I don't think that's a bad thing, but I also don't think that that was helping anybody or helping myself. I think that there's a way to be realistic and to be pretty straightforward about things, but to do it with grace and with kindness and to kind of give it a positive spin. So I'm trying to do that more.
Yeah.
So that's my personal growth on this podcast is I'm going to talk about the ugly stuff, but I want to try and bring it back around.
I love that.
Yeah.
Another full, what did you say?
Full circle.
Full circle moment. I love that.
Hell yeah, baby girl. So, Jen, what's your take on this topic?
Oh, I've got a hot take. And it's going to get into things that we've touched on before.
Love that.
In my life.
That's good. So for like the reoccurring listeners, they get to piece more things together.
And for those who aren't reoccurring listeners, fuck you. Just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Yesterday was April Fool's. This is my April Fool's joke. I love all of you.
Yeah, exactly. No, we do love every single one of you. And whenever we poke fun, it's simply poking fun.
Yeah.
That's what the disclaimer is for.
I've said this many times before. If one person were to watch one of these episodes and all of the other ones have 0 views on them, while that does suck, I'm glad one person enjoyed it and got something out of it.
You know what I just thought of?
What?
If let's say that there's 2 people, because you and I listen every week, right? Let's say the only 2 people are us. We're gonna grow from that. Personally.
I agree. We're just adding more tools to our toolkit.
And
eventually to a toolbox, and eventually to a she shed,
and then a she shop,
a she storefront. Are you kidding?
Oh, she's cute.
I love it. So you heard it here, folks. Alex and I are opening a store.
We don't know what we're selling or providing.
But it's going to be something.
Yeah.
What would we sell? Probably like fucking coffee and...
Oh, I would love... Coffee to me is so luxurious, but I think I always look at it as a consumer. I did work at Caribou Coffee in college and I loved it. My favorite part-time job. However, I was only working 4 to 5 shifts. It was a corporate company, so I was paid very well.
Yeah.
If the business wasn't doing good, didn't hurt me. So I think owning it would be a little bit different.
Yeah.
Also, I'm not good at latte art. I wasn't required to do that. We just covered the top with whipped cream every time.
I think I can do it.
I think you could too. You're so artsy fartsy.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is why we're such a good team.
This is why we are sisters. We stand together. We make up one big family, but we don't look the same. Our spots are different.
Yeah.
Different colors.
Yeah.
That's Cheetah Girls.
I know it is. I just haven't listened to it in forever.
No, I was saying that to the crowd.
Oh, well, if you don't know that's Cheetah Girls, don't speak to me respectfully.
But Cheetah Girls, Cheetah Sisters.
Cheetah. Okay,
take it away.
Yeah, like I was getting into, and then we got on a massive side turn, which is fine. A lot of what I want to discuss here is not really design or like professionally related. It's more personal. So buckle up, ladies and gentlemen, and they, thems, non-binary folks. I don't know what to refer to you as here, but hello, you're all welcome. Buckle up. It's story time.
I'm listening.
Well, Al, you know most of this story. But
that's okay. It's a tale as old as time, baby girl.
Yeah. For those who are new here, or for those who haven't watched the episodes that I'm referring to, hi, I'm Jen. I had a really traumatic 2023. The worst year of my life, but also one of the best years at the end of it and in the middle. Really, the first half just kind of sucked and set me on the bad foot. But that's okay. Anyways, obviously I'm not going to give you every single specific detail of this story because why the hell would I do that?
We love you, but y'all don't deserve that.
Well, not even that. It's out of respect for the other people in this situation, which is ironic. You know why? Because I didn't get respected whatsoever. LOL.
That's so true.
But I'm going to be the bigger person and not name any names here. So a month into 2023, so the beginning of February, I went through an awful breakup. For those who don't know, just to put it in the air, it's not something to sugarcoat.
Yeah, you really can't.
No.
Just gotta say it how it is, baby.
Yeah. And like I said, obviously I'm going to be slim on the details because it threw me for a loop. It threw me into a flaming pool of shit, quite honestly.
What an image.
I know. You're welcome. I'm an artist. I'm really good at creating imagery. Yeah. Anyways, I was in this relationship really hello. I started this relationship at a very young age. I was 16. So in a very pivotal time in any person's lives, not just my own. High school it's definitely a time of learning and growth before college. And when you get to college, I feel like that's one of the biggest parts of your life where you go find yourself and experience things and meet new people and figure out who Jen is, you know?
Who's Jen?
Who is Jenny from the block?
Yeah.
Do it.
Sometimes I like to do my hair like this.
Yeah.
It makes me think that crazy little girl running down the block. Crazy little girl.
If none of you have no idea what we're talking about, this is J-Lo.
This is Jen Now. That's the name of her movie. This is me now.
This is Jen Now.
This is Jen Now. And this was Jen then.
So at our store, we're going to sell coffee and my documentary, This is Jen Now. I know. You're welcome for that.
We're going to be the only ones to buy it.
Probably.
That's okay.
Yeah, okay. Long story short, it was always me and this person. Okay? Not anymore. Which is good.
Yeah.
Just to go back on that. This is a good thing. I'm not mad. I never really had much time in high school or the beginning of college really to figure out who I was. And I mean, I did have some, I don't want to say exploration, but I did like fuck around, try things out and figure out who I was.
Fucked around and found out.
No, literally, a Boy Genius reference. When you don't know who you are, you fuck around and find out. Anyways.
And that's the reference for today, folks.
Yeah. But anyways, like I'm saying, it was always me and this person, okay? I never really got to experience a lot of things by myself. And not saying that's a horrible thing, but especially when you're so young, you got to try and figure out some things for yourself. You can't always have a crutch or someone to lean on. You got to try things yourself. I never really had time to just figure out who Jen was, okay? And this huge change in my life came in 2023 and really made me pause and think, okay, what the fuck? Who is Jen? Let's just sit for a minute. Who are you? What do you want to do with your life? Where do you want to live? What are your goals for the future? It really made me stop and just consider not every possibility, but a lot more things that I feel like going through this breakup, I don't want to say freed me because that's so cliche, but it definitely opened my eyes to more options and different things to try out, I believe. And most of 2023, like I was saying earlier, it started to turn around like in the summer. But most of 2023 was really, really dark for me because I didn't know who the hell I was. Like, I'm 22. I just went through the worst fucking breakup of my life, my first breakup, okay? It brought me so much sadness, but also going through that, I found so much happiness and so much joy. And I can say now I'm really happy with the person I'm becoming, which I kind of want to cry.
Yeah, I love that.
Like, I'm just really proud of myself. Like,
I'm proud of you too.
There were times where I didn't really think I was going to get through last year, but here I am, bitches.
Mm-hmm.
Jen's back.
You make such a good point, and I'll interject here really quick because I want people who listen to this, who have maybe been in relationships since they're younger. If you can be in a relationship with somebody who allows you and almost promotes that self-growth, who says, hey, take the time to think outside of our relationship, and they do the same and be like, okay, is what we want aligning as we get older? Because I think as children. I mean, when you started this, you were a child still.
Literally.
So you are your world to that person, and then vice versa. And it becomes your identity, like you said. So if things end and end on bad terms, as they did, the reason you feel so sad is that identity is gone.
Yeah.
You've never, ever pictured yourself without that person. So, I mean, naturally, I think a lot of people do kind of think to themselves, well, what now?
Right.
Like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
But it's the people who push through, like you did, that figure out some really cool things about themselves.
Mhm.
And I love that.
Me too. Like I'm saying here, I'm really happy with where I'm coming and where I'm at right now, but there's always going to be room to grow and try things out and figure out who you are. I'm still young. I'm fucking 23. Like, I don't have everything figured out, but
and
I'm
that's
happy.
Exciting, honestly.
No, I agree.
Mm-hmm. You have time on your side, babe.
Yeah. At 22, I was not excited about that. But now at 23, I'm like, oh my God,
Fresh
the world is my
perspec.
fucking oyster.
Yeah.
I love it. So personal growth is definitely a journey. It's not a race. And I had to remind myself that often. And honestly, I do just about every day. There are so many things that I questioned and so many things I wanted in a specific moment in time last year when I was going through all of this, and even now. But I had to do, and I'm still doing, a lot of reflecting, and I have to have a lot of patience to realize the things that are meant for me will come when they're ready. And I want to bring up one of my favorite songs ever, Vienna by Billy Joel. If you don't know this song, are you living under a fucking rock?
It's so beautiful.
It is one of the
gives
most
me
beautiful
goosebumps.
songs. It makes me cry just about every time I listen to it.
Wait, do you think of it like as the song only, or a song in a soundtrack to a specific movie? Because that's what I think of. It's in 13 going on 30.
Oh, yeah,
when she
you're
kind
right.
of is like having that existential crisis, like when things aren't going her way because she's a 13-year-old in a 30-year-old's
Yeah.
body. So in a way, she's kind of having this identity crisis.
Yeah.
And there's this really sweet moment where the song comes on and she's like at her parents' house and they come home and she just like gets emotional and starts hugging them.
I
And
know
it's
what you're talking about.
so beautiful.
Yeah.
But keep going.
It is such a beautiful song. This is something that, I mean, I've always loved this song ever since I found it when I was probably like 16 or 17. But especially going through what I did last year and having these thoughts of like, okay, I just graduated. What the fuck am I going to do now? Why don't I have a perfect dream job with a like six-figure salary right now? Why am I living in Superior? You know, just like all of these very dreadful, not good, self-deprecating thoughts. And I listened to this song and I want to say a lyric because it means a lot to Jen. So if you don't know, now you know. But the lyric is, slow down, you're doing fine. You can't be everything you want to be before your time. And in my notes, I wrote, so fucking true, Billy.
Preach, Billy.
I've got a lot of F-bombs in this one. I'm sorry,
Preach.
guys. But
That's okay. You feel passionate about
yeah,
it. And
I'm very
that.
passionate about this. This is a very large part of who I am. It's not the one thing that defines me, but it is the one thing that has like really shifted my life thus far.
And Jenna, it was not long ago.
No.
This also, I want to put this out there for anybody who would listen to this and be like, why do you keep touching on it? And I don't mean that.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just know that I used to think that about myself sometimes if I would talk about something. People need to realize big life moments like this take a very long time to go through. In a way, it's a grieving process. You maybe didn't lose a human or a person or individual to death, but you're grieving the death of that relationship, of that person that you've spent so much quality time with, somebody maybe you thought that you'd spend the rest of your life with. You need to give yourself the proper amount of time, and that changes for anybody.
Yeah.
There's no specific amount of time. I don't care what kind of person felt like they came up with the equation to that. Have you ever heard it where they're like, oh, if you were together for 2 years, it's going to take you 4 years. It takes double the amount of time. It's like, no, because sometimes 1-year relationships are so intense, up and down, hot and heavy. It takes 10 years for somebody to truly come, like, feel some peace with it. So I just
No, I
want
appreciate
you
that.
to know that I think it's important that you do bring this up because it was only a year ago.
Right. And like, honestly, I'm fucking over the situation. Just so everyone knows.
Yeah.
And so that's clear. I'm over it. I only bring it up to be a light in somebody's life who might be going through this or did in the past and is having a hard time. I got you, girl.
And if you don't look back at where you came from,
Yeah.
you can't appreciate where you are now.
Mm-hmm. I would agree.
So
Completely.
keep on going.
Going back to that lyric, during this large period of self-discovery and growth last year and last summer, I reflected on that quote a lot. Slow down, you're doing all right. The things that are meant for you are going to come to you in the moment they are. You can't rush things. Things are going to take time, and not everything is just going to be handed to you on a silver platter, right? So I was really confused because I wasn't finding the perfect job immediately after graduation. Obviously, I had a really great internship, and that was fucking awesome, but I was just like, okay, why am I not getting a job? They tell us in college, like, everyone is needing a graphic designer. There's so many jobs. Just you're going to work right after college. And that wasn't the case on my end. I wasn't in a relationship, so I felt like I was just kind of this girl floating around, living life and experiencing things. But I don't know. I felt like for some reason that defined me and I didn't really have a purpose, which is dumb. Obviously, I do have a purpose, and obviously, I'm capable of being loved.
But such a natural feeling, I think.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
I used to put a time frame on myself where I was like, oh, if I don't meet somebody by the time I graduate college, I don't want to meet somebody in a bar, so I need to meet somebody in college. And it's like, that probably made me select the wrong person at that time. And that's really unfortunate. I feel it just like cripples your choice making.
Yeah.
You know?
I would agree. The last like negative thing I want to bring up was, if you don't know this about me, I never thought I was going to live in Superior. I'm not going to stay there forever.
Souptown!
Souptown, baby. A couple of my coworkers call it Souptucky. Which I love so that. Funny.
That's way better than Souptown.
I love it. I love it. I went home one weekend. Or like I left, I didn't work on a Friday, so I had a long weekend. And on Monday when I got back, somebody was like, oh, are you in Souptucky yet? That was just really funny to me. I love it. But anyways, I never thought I would be in Superior for any amount of time in my life. And I just felt so stuck and lost. Like, why the fuck am I in this town? I love Duluth, but the rent is just too expensive. But
oh my gosh, and try buying a house in this climate.
We're not talking. We can have an episode on that.
Actually, can I bring this up and like interject? I did ask my boyfriend today. I was like, okay, so because he asked, what's your topic tonight? Yeah. And I said, well, this is what we're talking about. We are looking to add some more. So like, what would you want to hear as a male?
Yeah.
He said something with finances.
No.
I
Brandon?
told him, I asked him, I said, hey, so do you like me like maybe professionally, business wise? And he said, yeah. And I said, okay, because if we're talking personally, not your girl.
Same.
Not the girl to be doing it. You should know that. You get a front row seat to my mistake all the time.
Brandon, I so appreciate you generating ideas for us. No,
honey. Sorry.
I am going to go to Target after this.
Girl math.
Exactly.
If you went and bought something for $42 and then you had to return half of it for $21, you just made $21.
You just made $21.
That's
and what
free
are you
money.
going to do with it?
Spend it.
Exactly. That song, Vienna by Billy Joel. I am a firm believer in everything happening for a reason, right? So I went through this massive life shift, didn't really know who I was just kind of mad at the world, depressed, angry at fucking everyone and everything. But I moved into an apartment in a city I never thought I would live in, and I ended up getting an amazing job that I love 2 blocks away. I walk to work when it's nice out. Who can complain about that?
No one. No one should, at least.
I took an internship on a whim, with a girl I met once in Ulta Beauty a few years back and ended up gaining so much knowledge about design and business, but also I gained a best friend. And Alex and I are holding hands right now.
That was really sweet.
I mean it. Like, seriously.
I know you do.
For those who don't know, like, I'm not saying these things to sound overly dramatic. Like, I was fucking depressed. I can't even give you words other than that. I was so lost. And to be like found and appreciated and accepted in a place with Alex and her dad and now my new job, I'm just living. I love my life right now, and I wasn't really able to say that last year, but I'm just so happy.
Oh, I'm so proud of you.
I love you.
I love you too.
But besides that, I ended up getting out of my shell, and I discovered things that brought me joy again, like going for a walk on the beach. I did that so much last summer. Anytime like I had a day off from Pop and Dot, or I worked part-time at Ulta Beauty, like I would be at the beach or just going on a walk or trying to find something new. And like finding the little things that made me happy again was a key pivotal point in self-discovery, I think.
Oh, that's such a good word, self-discovery. Oh, that gave me chills a little bit.
Oh,
I like that.
You're welcome. So what's my moral of the story here? You guys are like, Jen, why are you bitching about your breakup again? Like,
stop.
Which, thanks for letting me speak, girlies. I love you guys. But moral of the story is, if you ever feel lost or afraid, alone, stuck, the most depressive point in your life that you've ever been in, like me, just know better things are coming your way. And it might not be in the exact moment you want it to, but the things that are meant for you are going to come into your life at the exact moment you need it. And for those who don't know, I have so many things like that hanging up around my apartment just to remind me that, because I feel like, especially in Western society, like America, we take things for granted, like time, and I won't go too big into this, but I feel like we take some things for granted and we think we are owed some things just because we have a degree or whatever makes us fucking special. But good things are coming your way, whether you like it or not, at a certain time. You can't rush things.
Yeah, but also, can I add, just because you have a degree doesn't make you a good person and doesn't mean good things are going to happen to you.
Period.
And also, if you have a degree that took a lot of money to get there and then you get a really fancy schmancy job, doesn't mean that it's going to be all that it's cracked up to be.
Right.
Your personal life could be shit.
Yeah.
You could be so unbelievably happy. That's where they say money can't buy happiness. Sure, does it help? They always say you've never seen somebody not smile on a jet ski, and I understand that, but at the same time, it's like,
I think I have not smiled on a jet ski. I hate jet skis.
okay, so for you, different scenario. I've never seen Jen not smile going through Sephora or Ulta.
Yeah.
That's better.
I appreciate
You're
you
like,
giving me a little special
skis?
analogy. Dude, I fucking jet skis. No.
They scare me.
Have you ever been on a jet ski in the ocean?
I would never.
It's terrifying.
I would
Let
never.
me tell you.
I saw this thing on Instagram the other day, and she was like, when I say I love the ocean, I mean the surface of the ocean. Whatever's underneath that is none of my business, and I could not agree more.
No.
I won't dip a fucking pinky toe into the ocean without having fear for my life.
No, same.
Sometimes it's even the beach now. Now I'm like, the beach at night, you know, by the water.
Yeah.
I'll walk in the water during the day, but at night, that's when the crabs come out and they're in the shallow waves. If one of those simply brushes up against my foot, I'm out of there.
It's on site.
I'm leaving whoever I came with in my dust. Find me later.
So,
anyways,
long story short, Alex and I are never going to go to the ocean.
No, poor analogy. And when we talk about jet skis, we're talking about on a lake, not the ocean.
So true.
Mm-hmm. It's less threatening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just slightly.
Just slightly, yeah.
That's all?
That's all.
Yeah.
I think that was good. We covered a lot in a shorter amount of time that we typically do.
We covered a lot of territory today. If any of you have questions about anything, just let us know.
Yeah.
We talk about a lot of shit. We've covered a lot of topics in the last 12 episodes. If you have any questions on anything or want us to elaborate, just ask.
Exactly. Elaboration is what I would probably say too, is maybe you don't have a question about something entirely new. And if you do, great. We'll do our best to answer those questions. But I also kind of want to open it up too. If you disagree with anything and you kind of want to shed some light on something that maybe Jen and I are missing from something we've previously talked about, talking about growth, we're willing to listen. We're willing to kind of talk about maybe something that we missed.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also just opening discussion to stuff because maybe there's something that we need to better explain. Who knows?
Word.
But we're here. We're living. We're ready.
L-I-V-I-N.
We're L-I-V-I-N, baby. All right.
I gotta go get my double chunk chocolate cookie from Costco.
From Costco. Hi, we're the Costco guys.
That was so funny.
That's a boom.
We're Costco guys. Of course we gotta walk around with the chicken bake.
Okay.
Anyways.
We're getting so silly.
We're just two goofy, silly girls.
We're just two goofballs.
Yeah.
So, well, let's say goodnight.
Good night, goodbye, good riddance. I hope you enjoyed this.
Good riddance.
A good fucking riddance. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Oh, before we do go, we'll say goodnight one more time. We will not be here next week.
Oh, yeah.
I will be out of town. So you'll just have to wait for episode. Oh my God. I say epi. I need to say episode and be professional.
Epi 13.
Epi 13 will be in 2 weeks from now.
And it's going to be entirely Taylor Swift themed.
There will be one segment on Taylor Swift. Fine, Jen. Okay, we love you guys. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Goodbye.
Smell ya.